What is going on, everybody? We back with another one of these live streams. Ran across this video on YouTube, and they was talking about same stuff I've been talking about for a while now, but I'm gonna explain it further as they do their commentary. They're gonna describe about the difference between America and certain other countries, and they've been saying it for a minute. I've said it on previous podcasts. I've had personal conversations with other people, and we've all wanted the same thing. But yeah, but without further ado, we're gonna get into it because I just want to make people aware of how things have changed. The whole world done changed, but America is feeling it. And it's been like this in America since after the pandemic. A lot of it started before the pandemic, but it really just went completely left after the pandemic. But without further ado, let's commence, shall we?
Welcome back, tribe. Got one here from a small channel, Kid Greatness. America is the worst place for a social life. Get into it.
America is the worst place when it comes to social life. Like, I've been back in the States for about a week now, and I have no idea how people live here.
But they don't have a choice. The thing is, this is a lot of people. This is all they know, even though it leads to a lot of people that live. They have a hard time trying to keep up. They have a hard time trying to mentally cope. It's hard to find balance because there was a time where you could actually find balance between your work life, business life, social life. But now it's even business people have to run and think and work and concentrate like almost night and day just to survive, just to maintain everything because taxes steady going up, insurance steady going up. You have inflation that's constantly in the grocery stores. You see it everywhere. I don't care where you go. You can you have corporations shutting down. They started shutting down during the pandemic, and it just never stopped. Really, it never stopped. People just they wanted people to think it just went away after the pandemic, once the pandemic, but no, it didn't just go away. Things are still kind of bad, pretty bad. It started during the pandemic, and it never just stopped being bad. But they wanted people to think it was getting better because they wanted to distract people with media and different political stunts and all kind of other stuff. But things never just got better. But let's go on.
Every time I've come back to America from either like Asia, Africa, like it's just like I have a reverse culture shock because it seems like people are just like dead inside. Like you look at people's eyes.
Well, when your whole life revolves around work, home, work, home, work, home. Let me turn this down a little bit. I don't want to risk it sounding. I want to have a distorted sound here. But when you have, I don't want to, because I want to be kind of in the middle. Yeah, okay. Because anyway, when all your life is consisted of work and home, and you constantly have to chase what quote unquote the bag, you constantly have to figure out ways to make money, figure out ways to survive, figure out ways to outmaneuver the rise in property tax, the rise in insurance, people that have properties, people that have mortgage, the rise in interest rates when it comes to loans, when it comes to any loans they may have, any credit cards they may have, the interest rate continues to rise. It has, when you're just trying to figure out how you're going to make it to the next day. People that had 9-to-5 jobs, people that had businesses that were once making a good living, now they're trying to figure out how they're going to make it, how they're going to pay their mortgage, how they're going to pay their light bill, how they're going to pay their water bill. So that could have a significant impact on how you react to people, how you respond to people, how you deal with people, how you talk to people. Even in the South, where they had quote unquote Southern hospitality, it's rough because people are trying to figure out how they're gonna survive. That's why you see when I see women that post on Facebook saying, if I got a $3,000 mortgage and a $200 light bill and all this XYZ, I don't want to see a what you doing text. And I understand that part. I understand it. When I say I understand it, it's the simple fact that everyone's in survival mode. When they're doing all of that, when she has a $200 mortgage and all this kind of stuff, it means that she's in survival mode. When she's in survival, when people are in survival mode, they're not really up for just casual chit chat conversations. They're not up for just casual, just hey, let's hang out, hey, let's talk, hey, because everyone they're in survival. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna survive, trying to keep from being homeless, trying to keep from being in the dark, trying to especially they have children they have to take care of, they have themselves they have to take care of, they have car notes, they have these different types of expenses that are almost impossible to meet if you sleep on it 1 second, on 1 day. You can't afford to slip any. You're done. So that's why it's the way it is. It's not, and a lot of people. I say this. They people try to bash modern women, but I'm gonna tell you something. Tell y'all something. Everybody out here now is trying to do anything they can to survive. So I don't put the blame on them. I don't put the blame on anybody. Everybody's trying to do what they can to survive. You even have businesses. You even have banks trying to beat you out of your money. You have credit card companies beating you out of your money. You have mortgage. You have all kind of other different things out there. People have those Cash App scams. You have different organizations trying to beat you out of your money. You have churches. You have different people. Not saying that they're bad people, but when you're in a situation, let's say you have all these bills and expenses that you were able to pay on your own before, but now everything's tripled. What are you going to do to survive when it comes to your survival? Are you just going to be give everything up? Or are you going to try to, or is that, it's more like I would call it a primal instinct to survive. It kicks in. So that's why a lot of, they say, they're scamming people when it comes to dating and all this other stuff. They're going for what they know, okay? And I'm just saying this to make you aware of it, make people aware of it. People are going for what they know, and all they know is survival. And that's when it comes to it ain't just dating, it's anything. When it comes to banks, the banks are beating people out of their houses, cars, and stuff like that, because a lot of them are shutting down. A lot of them are going out of business. So it's not just, can't just put all the blame on modern women, on black women, on whatever the case may be. It's just not. When you look at the overall big picture, everyone's doing this in America. I can't say everyone, 100% everyone. Just generally speaking here. Companies, businesses, political parties do this just so they can survive. A lot of it's everywhere you look, someone's out for a cash grab because they're trying to survive. They're trying to pay these mortgages, trying to pay these expensive light bills, these expensive property taxes, these expensive groceries. It's cost less to eat out than it does to make groceries. So it's just a lot going on, financial wise. It's just terrible when it comes to that. So a lot of people. So we can't. So like now, when I see it, the state of America, when you look at the state of the world, you could look at it. You could go and look at local news, national news, global news. You see the state of everything, and you see what it's turning into. And yeah, it's pretty bad out there. So a lot of people are just trying to survive. So we can't just. I just wanted to mention that before. While it was still on my mind, I may do a stream about it one day, but I wanted to say that while it was on my mind, because things tend to leave my mind. I might forget. I might not think about it for another 2 or 3 months. So, yeah, just putting that out there. but it does tie into this video, the fact that everyone is in survival mode and why people are acting the way they're acting and why no one's being social, why it's hard to meet up with friends, why it's hard to find people in places to hang out and all of that, because everyone's trying to, the priorities are shifting to how am I going to, it went from, okay, what are we going to do for fun this weekend to how am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to pay this light bill? How am I going to pay my rent this month? It went to that. So now it's just if you talk to people and they're just all about money, that's why. They're trying to survive. That's what it is. That's all it is. Just like in the jungle, you got lions, you got hyenas, you got leopards, you got alligators. They're all trying to survive. And people say, "Oh, that's cruel." The lions tackled the buffalo and ate them. That's how they survive. That's the only way they can survive. If they don't do that, they'll die of starvation. So, if people out here that have limited opportunity, maybe limited education, maybe limited resources, if they don't do what they do, they may not survive. That's how you have to look at it. But only thing you have to do is make sure you're not the one getting scammed or getting suckered or whatever the case may be. So you have to survive the best way you can. But that's just the gist of it. Just hey, just a message, just showing you what it is out here.
And it's lifeless. And then you just like ask people like, "Oh, okay, today's Friday. What is going on today?" "Oh, I don't know, man."
Trying to pay our bills. That's what's going on. They're see, checks. People used to make it check to check. Friday. Not now. People sometimes get paid once a month, twice a month. Sometimes it's bi-weekly. You got a lot of jobs that are still paying $9 an hour. Their whole check goes towards bills. So there's a lot of times, okay, it used to be like, okay, we get paid. We go out and do something. I might spend $50. You might spend $50 going out, but you still got a whole check, rest of your whole check left to take care of any other business. One check used to go far. 2 checks used to go far. But I remember when I did used to work, those checks used to last. But now, your whole check is bill money. Everything is bill money. So there's no what are we gonna do this weekend? Yeah, we're gonna stay home and count our money to see how much more we have to come up with to pay the mortgage, to pay the rent, to pay the light bill. It's pretty much where that is.
Man, I don't know. What you've been doing? Like, I've been going for
trying to pay bills. That's what we're doing.
For like 4 months. Like, what have you been up to?
Trying to pay bills.
Nothing, man.
Nothing, man. Trying to pay bills.
Just maintaining.
Yes, just maintaining. That's what it is.
You know, man. I'm like,
yeah.
Yo, like, what the hell have you been doing? Like,
trying to survive. That's what. It's just an ad.
Running a creator business is overwhelming. Constant content creation, community management,
No.
Every time I leave, I leave 3 months, 6 months, and then when I come back to America,
Every time you leave and come back, it's going to get worse. I'm here to tell you right now. Every time you leave and come back, it's going to get worse. And if you have the money to do all this traveling, kudos to you, sir. Teach me, show me what you're doing. Because everyone around is trying to figure out how they're going to survive, trying to figure out how they're going to make these payments, they're scrambling, trying to figure out just to stay in good standing with their bills, with their debt, with their credit. It's a dogfight. So, yeah.
it seems like nothing ever changes. Like, people.
It won't, as long as everything is going to be the way it is. As long as there's inflation, as long as there is expensive taxes, expensive insurance, expensive rent and mortgage. People are paying $3,000 for rent. Insurance is through the roof. As long as there's that, you're always gonna you're gonna see what you've been seeing. The Walking Dead.
People are still in the same rut that they left.
Yeah, because there's no way out. Seriously, just look at with those type of bills and that type of income. You might have with your income if you're barely making it, and there's no people aren't really getting raises, so there's no really way to just climb out of there. It takes some kind of miracle.
That I left them in like nothing ever changes, and the people are just like
They're stretched thin. Their wallets are on empty. Guys, it's really hard for Americans. Although
Exactly.
you live in land of the free, the most prosperous nation on earth, it seems like compared to other
I wouldn't say that anymore.
countries, even that earn less, like here in Romania, discretionary
Yeah, just do your research. I wouldn't say they're the most prosperous anymore. I can't. World News will tell you that.
spending, it seems like the average couple or just the average adult here has way more money left over when you factor in the cost of living differences, even with their lower salaries here, way more money than the average American because they're still able to travel here. The cafe culture, restaurant culture here is huge. Like the terrace is packed. There's people just talking, people meeting. I haven't seen that in the U.S. in years, like especially
Because they're in survival mode here. And like he said, it's been like that for years since before the pandemic, but it really just spiraled downhill during and after the pandemic. Because over there is where he's at, they probably can afford everything. The rent's probably not through the roof. The light bill's probably not through the roof. The mortgage's probably not through the roof. They don't have these expensive car notes to where you can barely afford to drive the car. You can't even put gas. You can't afford to put gas in it, but because you're paying the car, all the money's going to the car note. And then you have to have full coverage insurance, $200 a month, $300 a month for full coverage insurance, and then you got $500 car note. That's just highballing the insurance. Maybe I say the last car I had a note on, which is why I refuse to go ever do a car note. Again, car note may be now it may be like $5 something a month, and then you may have $200 full coverage insurance. You're paying $700 a month for a car. You're basically paying rent for a car. And really it's just a loan anyway. So it's a lot of traps out there. It's a lot of everything. A lot of things in America is designed to just take your money. It's not really. The system isn't really set up to. It used to be, but the way it's being ran, the way the system's being ran now, is set up to take your money. So people are fighting just to stay afloat. It's like everyone's in the ocean without a. They don't have a life jacket. They don't have a boat. They don't have a paddle. They're trying to either swim or float, stay afloat. Fight. Everyone's fighting and drowning. Ones that aren't drowning are floating somehow, or swimming, and you can't stop swimming. It's like you're being dropped into an ocean in the middle of the Pacific Ocean somewhere, and you can't stop swimming. And there's no land in sight, but you can't stop swimming. You have to keep swimming, or else you'll fall and drown. You'll drown. You get tired, you'll drown. That's how it is. That's how it feels to live in America. You can get to good standing, but shoot, man, what it will take to get there. And you can't. You have to every day. You have to get up and hunt and fight like a dog, just to maintain, just to stay afloat. So that's the gist of it.
especially post-pandemic, something changed. Obviously, we had the greatest
A whole lot changed.
wealth transfer in history, but you can
A lot changed. Like during the pandemic, gotta look at what happened when in the midst of that time, crops were destroyed. Ships weren't able to reach the ports, so you had a global food shortage, a global crop shortage, a global water shortage because a lot of the water was contaminated. It was a lot of shortage, and then someone that I can't name called a war right in the middle of a pandemic that affected a lot of the world's resources. And then China was shut down. And America gets all these things from China. During the pandemic, China was shut down for a long time. So there are no goods being shipped in. So you have high demand, low supply. So you have a lot of inflation. So that's another thing.
You noticed it was physically noticeable how empty bars were, clubs were, restaurants were. Most of the establishments got emptied out. The downtown
Because the people are broke. They barely making it.
towns, like the old towns that you could walk around, because America doesn't have really much of a walking, or I should say a walkable city. They were there used to be crowds on the weekends in Old Town in Phoenix. That died out.
Because people had money they had extra money after they paid their bills. Now the bills put them in a deficit. Some people overdraft their accounts every month just to pay their bills.
Dude, it was just straight up empty in the past few years, right before I left. And when I came back to visit and just asking friends what they're up to, working, trying to make it, maintaining. I'm like, damn, is anybody traveling? Is anybody doing?
No, they can't. Traveling costs. Traveling, it may cost $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Let's say you go on a vacation. Booking cruises. It's like $2,000. People used to save up for that. People could use their paycheck for that. Now, there's no such thing because the rent is that much every month. Their mortgage is probably double that. And because the banks, if you have banks and whole corporations going broke, you know the people have no chance, right? You have corporations shutting down. Whole businesses, whole retail stores are shutting down. Whole banks going out of business, broke. So if that's happening with major corporations, if the quote-unquote high-value men are going broke, so because those are the people that own those stores and those major businesses and all of that, the quote-unquote high-value man is going broke. So if they're going broke, the average people the average 9 to 5 people are really catching it. It's just really hard.
Doing shit, major purchases, nothing, can't. It's too expensive.
No.
Housing, escaped, can't buy a new
Housing is horrible. The housing market is awful, just awful. I told somebody the other week they wanted to get in housing. They asked me, what's your advice? Don't do it. It's horrible because people can't afford it. People can't afford these homes. Because houses have tripled and doubled and tripled in prices. Can't nobody afford a $300,000 house. You just can't afford it. People can't afford a $4,000 mortgage, $3,000 mortgage. They just can't afford it. Now if you're a real estate agent, if you're able to get people cheaper mortgages than that, if you're still able to sell in this type of market, kudos. I'm not knocking it in any way. I'm just saying, it's too expensive for a lot of people to afford, and it takes special type of people to afford those mortgages. You may have some people that still have money, still succeeding, because you're going to have that in every society. Even in countries that are poor, you have people that are successful. So, not saying that you can't make it, because if you're making it, that's a good thing. But chance of everybody that gets into that market making it, no, I don't see it happening because people are broke.
new house. New cars are too expensive. Still
They
working
are.
with my beater.
New cars are I told you $500 a month for a note. $70,000 for a car. Probably $4,000 or $5,000 down payment. And really, it's just a loan anyway. You're just paying the bank, and then when you miss the payment, the bank comes and takes the car, and you still owe them for the money. You still owe them for the full payment of the note. And the cars are as much as a house now. You can get a house appraised. If you don't believe me, get a house appraised, and go on a lot and price those cars. The houses cost as much as the car costs. A new car costs just as much as a house. Go fact check me. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Just a house. I say, just go to your local neighborhood. It ain't gotta be the suburbs. I'm just talking about your average house, like a 2-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom house, or something like that. Look at how much it costs to build a house, a 2-3-bedroom house, and then look at the price of a new car. you'll know I'm not lying.
Hopefully it doesn't break down me. Boss is asking me for more work hours or still looking for a job. Job ain't paying enough.
And like mobile homes, just forget about them. Just forget about those. It's horrible. A mobile home costs more than a house. It costs more than a house is worth. Because I've had houses appraised. It costs more than a house is worth. You could look at, because you can go on, I think it's, one of them is Realty.com or something like this. There's a lot of real estate websites that'll tell you the market value of that house. That's why I say you can appraise it. They'll tell you the value of the house. I think one was Realtor.com, or I can't think of it right now, but it's a few sites you can go to that'll tell you that value. Some of them might be 78,000, some of them might be 60,000, depending on what area you're looking in. Just like your average house, average 3-bedroom house or something like that. It might be 78,000, 80,000. But you look at a new car now, or a mobile home costs twice that. It costs more than a house is worth. Okay? That's what I'm saying.
Got to take up overtime. I hope they don't cut my overtime because this is how I'm surviving. There's a bunch of
And you have to survive, meaning he's saying you have to probably work 12 to 16 hours a day just to barely make it. Let that sink in.
people just surviving off of overtime. It's insane, dude. It's insane. I know some people are doing really well, but not that many compared.
You're gonna have some people. You're always gonna have some people doing really well, and because that's just the way it is. I don't care. Like I said, even in bad countries, there are people they're like poor countries. You still have people that are rich, millionaires, billionaires, in poor countries. So doesn't mean you're not saying you can't make it. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be hard. Whatever you're doing is gonna be hard. It's just you need something on your side. You need the Lord, need the whole Trinity on your side, in your corner. You need everything you can get.
Compared to the amount that are struggling. And you can see it. Just look at the streets, dude. The amount of homeless people that has exploded. Crime that has exploded. Like, people are turning to drug dealing. They're turning to fucking petty theft. They're robbing stores. Shit like that just to make ends meet now. It's insane.
Just to survive.
Scamming people on, like, eBay and Craigslist meetups and shit like that. It's not looking good. And then that stress from not having money, how could that put a smile on your face when you walk out the door? Like, people are mad. People are stressed and struggling. Nobody's having a good time anymore.
No, not when you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay your light bill. No, you're trying to figure. So that's why I said I don't blame. I'm not angry when it comes to. I used to have videos about these women are scamming these men when it comes to dating. The reason why they're doing it because they have just when you think about it, $3,000 rent. Some places. Like I said, $200 light bills, $250 light bills. Some people have paid $300 light bills. You factor all that in. You add a kid or two in there, maybe 3 kids in there. Like I said, limited opportunities. They might not be getting paid that much on their job. I'm not saying I condone it, but a lot of people are having to do what it takes to survive. They don't mean any harm. They're doing what it takes to survive. You just can't let it be you. So it's just that's what it boils down to. So and like I said, a lot of people are doing this. Like you said, it was Craigslist scams. Somebody bought a PS5 on eBay or somewhere, and when they got the PS5, it was plates in the box instead of the PS5. So people are just they're trying to make it any way they can. You know, a lot of people probably do prefer to make an honest living, but on the current jobs they have, the current situation they're in, the honest ways of living just hadn't been cutting it, so they've been having to do what it takes. So I'm just telling you what just telling you the truth.
fucking wild to see, dude. And then you go out to Europe and you got like this cafe culture, walkable cities. Everybody is just surviving in the same fashion, but not to the extent like paycheck to paycheck like the United States, dude. And that's fucking, it's a world of difference. And maybe for or the Western Europe's probably the same as America. I think there's a racial aspect to this. Don't shoot the messenger, but here in Romania, it's majority Romanian. So there is a kind of a brotherhood and camaraderie, like we're all one people. So I guess there's no ethnic or racial tensions here like there would be in America or the West. And nobody's, because, you know, identity politics and the tribalism has radicalized America in the past.
Well, I say two words: white supremacy. That's what happened to America. Moving on.
Like 10 years so much. Here, that stuff doesn't exist. Like, just looking at another person, he's not the enemy. You know, I don't hate thy neighbor here. It's just like, oh, opening up a conversation with a stranger is still pleasant. I don't know. Let me stop ranting. Let's hear this young man.
Like lost. Like it really looks like people are like zombies here. Like
The Walking
If
Dead.
you're a web designer, here are 4
That's
web
what it is,
studio
The Walking
features
Dead.
you gotta know.
It's just, it's terrible out here.
and then like
Sensitive.
I'm talking about social life. Specifically, this video is about
Social life is
social life, 'cause
non-existent.
I've been back here and I've been trying to figure out like what can I do here? Like
Absolutely nothing.
Like what can I do? Like
Nothing.
Friday, Saturday,
Try to
Sunday
figure out how
feels
you're
like
gonna pay your
Monday,
bills.
Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
none of the days are different.
Every day is Monday. I said that before. Every day in America is Monday. Even Sunday is Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be shameless plug. I'm going to be starting my instead of my Sunday broadcast, it's going to be on Saturdays now. It has to be because reasons. But one, it's just I figured it'd be better, and I was led to do it that way. That's one. Two, it is what it is. But reasons. But anyway, because every day is Monday. Even Sunday is considered Monday now. Because whatever you have to do to make it work, to make things meet, to make it, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Whatever we have to do to survive. I'm not saying go out and make dishonest living. I'm not saying do all that. But I'm saying if it's getting down to where people have to work on Sundays, maybe have to work 2 and 3 jobs, maybe have to work overnight, stuff like that. It's getting down to the nitty gritty when it comes to that. And then on top of that, a lot of jobs are supposed to be disappearing. When those corporations, those banks shut down, you're talking about a lot of jobs going bye-bye, especially when AI takes over. So, excuse me, just saying.
Different. Like what do people do here? Let me know what you do here in the comment section because
Trying to pay bills. That's what I do. I'm gonna go on his page and comment, trying to pay bills
apparently I must not know.
and keep the man from getting me down.
I must be too desensitized to America to actually come back here and figure out what you do. Because like
No, I want to know what you do, sir. If you could go to all these places, you going to China and Russia and Germany and Africa. I want to know what you do. You need to hit my DM right now. We need to chat it up, brother. I want to know. Now I know there's a lot of people. I know a lot of people making it out here. A lot of people doing good. A lot of people living life. I want to know what he do. I need to know. Anyway, because whatever. Because I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. Whatever he doing, I want to know. Whether it be probably content and other stuff too, because people like making a lot of money on content too. But I want to know how he doing it step by step. I'm gonna have my notepad and everything.
going out to the club seems like the biggest waste of money. Like you're gonna spend $30, $40
I ain't never like going out there.
to get in the club,
Even when it was $5, it was a waste of money to me.
and then nobody's really talking to each other. Like
They trying to unplug. They scraping up their last to go to the club. They scraping up their last dime because it's not
everybody just looking at each other like crazy.
Mean muggy.
And
they using credit cards.
then like when you're walking around America, like the streets are just
They overdraft their account to go out there
empty.
because they broke.
Like that's one
They-
thing that I like about Africa, like Nairobi specifically, is like not everybody has a car. So like when you walk around, you meet people. When you go to the mall, you see people. Here, like even if you go to the mall, it seems like it's a waste of time because the mall
It's
is
dead.
empty.
Because they broke. People are broke.
It's like people do not leave outside their house. Like
They broke, and they either they work or they sleep. They have to get up, work 12 to 16 hours a day. When they work, then a lot of the jobs in America, because I worked in retail, I worked in a lot of these jobs. Every job I had, they work you into the ground. They work you so tired you can't even function. All the thing you can do when you get home is go to sleep because they work you so hard. And then you as y'all stated before, you have to do overtime to survive. So, being that they're working 12 to 16 hours a day, and all the thing you have time to do is go to work, come home, go to sleep, get up, go back to work. Repeat that 7 times, 7 days a week. That's what you got. That's the life you have. Just all your day, and then when you retire, you get $1,500 a month. That's the American dream, boys and girls.
why? What are you doing in your house? Like
Sleep.
I feel like this is the most.
Sleep from work, because you work 16 hours a day. Only thing you have time to do is sleep and go back to work. Up, work, home, TV, bed. Up, work, home. I saw that on SpongeBob SquarePants. They was trying to warn us when they was trying to warn us on SpongeBob SquarePants. Because there was a man on there, one of them episodes. Up, work, home, TV, bed. This is all I do. This is all I do. He wasn't lying. I was a kid when I was watching it. I should have listened to that man. I should have listened to him.
Most isolating place there is in the world. Like I've been to a lot of countries, and I never seen a place as isolating as America. Like there's no incentive to talk to your neighbor. There's no incentive.
Because they focus on a word about how they gonna make it. Ain't no incentive, man. If my account is overdraft $300 and I got 3-4 more bills due, I don't feel like chit chatting. I don't want to talk to nobody. That's why I said, when those women say, when I got all these bills I got to pay, I don't want to see a what you doing text. I don't even get mad at them no more. Because if my bills is due, if I'm paying all these bills and I'm barely making it, I don't want nobody asking me what I'm doing. What I'm doing, look, get away from me. That's what I'm doing. That's the mood that puts you in. Survival, that's the mood that puts you in. You don't really want to be bothered. I understand. I see when you actually out here, you understand it. That's why I ain't mad at them.
I don't know. I feel like somebody's walking by. There's no incentive to like.
You see how jittery you are, dude, in the U.S.? You're like, who the fuck's behind me? You're in a public park, dude. You still got like a low level of
Where's so much going on in the U.S.? People come up behind you and unalive you. I gotta say that on these platforms. Well, it is what it is. But they come behind you and unalive you. They do what they man. People you can't. All these news stories I've been seeing, I've covered a lot of these news stories. People kidnap folks. People do all kinds of crazy stuff. I've covered a lot of them on this podcast. So I can't deny that it don't happen.
anxiety just knowing that there's like tweakers and shit around you. I don't miss
Man, yeah, people follow you. It's crazy out here. It's too much going on.
that feeling at all. I'm not on edge. I don't have to be on guard walking around in public. Yes, positive and negative. That gun control here is a bit too stringent. So like the average person walking around isn't caring. But America never had that problem until mental health issues exploded. I do miss my guns, but I can't deny, it's undeniable that you're walking around and you're like, okay, worst case scenario. Let's just say there's a nut job and there's not many homeless people here. Let's just say there's a nut job and all he really has is a knife. So it's like you got a fighting chance at least.
Talk to anybody. And I
Well, I have several of those. I collect those things. So, I mean, and in that case, if everybody got sense and then it's not a lot of homeless people there and it's just you can afford to live there, you can afford. You really won't need guns. If you create a safe, affordable, healthy environment, you just don't need guns. People have guns and shoot because people ain't folk. You got folk living on the street. They have to do what they got to do to eat. They trying to figure out how they gonna eat, where their next meal coming from. That's what they trying to do. They trying to figure out where their next meal coming from. That's what a lot of them trying to do. It's on these streets. You can't get mad at them for trying to survive. That's all it is, survival.
I can see like why people here feel so lonely because like in many other countries I go to, I probably don't know nobody there. Probably my first time there, but I don't feel lonely. But I've been back here for about like a week, and like I feel lonely. And the crazy part is like my family's here, my friends are here, but like I never get a chance to see them. Like they don't leave their houses. They're either concerned about going to work the next day, or
that's all they got
some
time
other
for.
BS that's not really important. But like
it is important. What you mean? Because the only thing that we do in America, work and pay bills. That's all we can do. And that's the priority. Or take our kids to school, make sure our kids is happy, make sure they have a social life so they don't go insane. We can't deprive them of their social life because we can't have one. We sacrifice for our children and for the sake of them having a decent, healthy life. Even without people without kids is struggling. I know some right now. I know plenty. People without kids struggling. People with kids, because everything is high. Because no matter where you stay at, you paying rent or mortgage for two people. You paying the type of bills you paying is for two people. America made it to where it used to be where one person could take care of everything, but now it take two people, and those two people is barely making it with both of them working. So that's where you at. It's what you got.
even though you can live like
it ain't being negative. It's what it is. Now, if it was great and grand and grandiose, I'd say that. But it's not. It's just not, okay? It's not at all.
3 blocks away from your family, or your family lives the next town over, you will never see them in America.
Probably not.
Because they're always caught up in the rat race.
Yep.
And like I don't really know how people deal with this. Like
they don't have a choice.
Like if
You have
I
no
was
choice.
forced to actually stay in America and not leave, like somebody just took my passport and said, "Oh yeah, okay, Kid Greatness, you cannot travel no more." I might. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. He been outside of America and then can't. He's traveled outside of America and he comes to America. See, how do they live like this? Lots and lots of therapy. Okay, lots and lots of therapy. All right. Other coping mechanisms. That's why you see a lot of people, especially in Mississippi, other areas in southern areas, even in other. That's why you see a lot of people turn to. Not saying I condone this. I'm just telling you what's going on out here. Because just because I do ministry and all that don't mean I'm a stranger to everything that's happening around me. People turn to weed. People turn to alcohol. People turn to prostitutes. People turn to all types of different things to keep their mind just for coping. Be it healthy or unhealthy. People turn to different coping mechanisms so they can keep from going insane, basically. Because it's just that the cost of living is abysmal.
Let's say that on camera, but I would not be able to deal with it. Like, cause it is terrible here. Like even dating. Like,
Here we go.
if you're single in America, like where do you meet people? Like,
where do you meet people if you're single? You don't. Problem solved.
like where like the club is absolutely useless. Like the club.
Well, you can't go to the club. You can't expect. You might find decent people there. I don't really go there to meet people, so I really don't go. I'm not a clubber. You may, but that ain't really the place to go to find somebody. Cause a lot of clubs in America now, a lot of clubs, women just go there to have fun, to enjoy themselves. They don't really go there to meet a guy. Just, it's just the way it is. And especially nowadays, when they go, they're just trying to unload, trying to release. They're really trying to escape their reality. So they're not really interested in mingling, as y'all said before, because mingling is hard to do nowadays. Because people are just trying to figure out how to make ends meet. It's just hard to do. Because people when they're in survival mode, they're not going to be in their best state of mind. They're going to be vulnerable, and they're going to be, when people are in survival mode, it's just like trying to deal with somebody in survival mode is just like trying to deal with somebody that's broken. They don't mean any harm, but it's just not gonna end it's not gonna turn out in your favor. They're not gonna have your best interest, because if they're broken, they're not in the best shape to meet anybody or deal with anybody or love anybody. If they're in survival mode, they're not in the best shape to love anybody or deal with anybody, because they're operating off raw instinct, just pure survival. So it's just not, like I said, they don't mean no harm. It's just what it is.
Don't forget about that. Where would you actually go to meet women in America? Like how do you even set up dates? Like Tinder, like Bumble, like online dating is absolute trash. So
nowhere. It was a while ago I deleted all my dating stuff. Because it's I'm not angry about it. I don't dislike it. It's just, people's priorities have just shifted to, again, survival. So as far as dating and mingling, there's just no time for it, because people are, you have some people that still want to date us and be courted a certain way, but people don't have the money for it, man. Nobody has the money for it anymore. Nobody has the money to go to these fancy restaurants, these 5-star restaurants, and go on these trips and pack your bags. We're going on vacation. Nobody has the money for that. Nobody has money just traveling all around. You have some people that do, but like I said, it's few and in between. Most people are prioritizing stability and staying alive. People just trying to stay alive, just trying to keep food in their house, keep the lights on. That's a priority versus social activity.
You're not meeting people there.
You can't.
You can't go to the club. You can't go to a bar.
No.
Like where are you going?
If they're going to the bar, they're just getting drunk because they're depressed.
Like, how do you meet people? You can't even go to the mall because the malls are deserted.
Like, the malls are going out of business. A lot of towns, the malls are leaving there because the customers can't afford to shop there.
There's nobody at the mall.
That's why corporations are shutting down, because the people can't afford to even shop.
Like, I don't know how you make friends and date in America. Like, I don't know how you have a social life in general. Like,
you don't.
Like, I think I seen one of my friends, like, what was that, last Saturday? And
if you've ever wondered what a
there's
profitable
no social life.
dropshipping store actually
just
looks
don't have
like,
one,
then this quick video
because I noticed that I don't have
first
one. I noticed that, and really,
he could not tell me one thing to do here.
There is nothing.
I have been.
There's not there because he's probably busy working, trying to figure things out.
Going most of the year. Like, I've been traveling through Europe.
Bro, that dating thing, just the social factor of society today, it's so different. Back in my days, literally like 2012, 13, 14, right at the advent of Tinder and all that shit, I think it was, before online dating took over, you could go to clubs and meet some cool people. People that...
You could. You can go to, it ain't got to be the club. You can go to any other place and just meet somebody.
I would never go out. I remember
places when I was in college. We used to go places, just hang out and meet, and just gather, go to restaurants and have a reserve a whole table, and we all just go out and have fun and hang out. Now there's no hanging out because nobody's just calling you to hang out because it's so tight and crucial out here.
multiple times meeting girls that were dragged out by their girlfriends because they got out of long-term relationships, and or chicks that came with their best friends and they never club. It'll be like Cinco de Mayo, for example. It'll be like some holiday. This was in California, obviously, so that's big. And just special events like that, or special, like DJs would be coming, whatever, that the clubs were hosting. And you weren't necessarily meeting like the club rats that were just there every single weekend of the month, just getting turned out, or the quote regulars, the trash, because the club is full of trash. The bar is full of trash normally, but you used to, it was socially acceptable that the weekend night, that's what you typically did, or go to the bar with friends, say, for example, Friday after work, everybody gets ready and goes to a bar. It's not that you frequent the bars every time, you're just going there with friends. But that interaction meant that you could meet some decent people, dude. Not exactly like the degenerates, but you could actually meet decent people. Nowadays, I don't know. I had the deserted feeling too. All my friends say that it's deserted, or the absolute most scum of the earth now frequent the bars and the clubs. That's it. Like you're scraping.
Well, because that's because a lot of those are the scum of the earth. It lines up with people not having their priorities in order. The ones that have their priorities in order are either working or sleeping to get ready for work. So, again, it's just, it all lines up.
Scraping from the bottom of the barrel now.
Because a lot of them, they beg their way into the club. They beg people out of their money. They beg, bar, and steal to get in there. So, that's the ones that's in there. That's what you got.
Genuinely normal people that used to go don't go. Everybody avoids it like the plague because it's gotten so bad. Yeah.
It ain't bad. It's just folk is broke.
So your avenues for...
They rather spend that money maintaining versus just going to the club and taking shots in the bar, stuff like that. They rather just spend their money on other stuff that's going to pertain to their household.
Meeting people and having like normal interactions have completely disappeared. I don't know. Part of that is the tribalism I talked about, the radicalization. Like, just look at the politics in America. Like, if you vote for Trump or if you voted for Kamala, and how divisive that is, and how people hate each other. And you got chicks.
And it shouldn't be that way because back when it was Bush and Clinton, it wasn't this much hate. I remember when I was little and Bush and Clinton was running, it was not this much hate. We had friendly debates in school, but it was never this bad. It was never that horrible. With Obama and McCain, I started seeing the change then, but it wasn't the way it is now. Now it's just outright hatred for each other. People that voted for for one party and the other, they're just outright. You can go on social media and look. It's just outright hatred, name calling, death threats, all kind of stuff. It's just people are just out of control when it comes to that.
Chicks screaming like fucking banshees in the mic, crying, shaving their hair, saying they're not gonna have sex for 4 years with men and some shit like that. And then the MAGA dudes saying their crazy shit too, like your body, my choice. It's like, this is where we are in America, and you wonder why people don't talk to each other anymore when they have so much vitriol towards each other. But in the rest of the world, dude, shit's normal.
Well, reason, lack of social life, lack of entertainment, lack of it causes that. When you don't have that interaction that you used to have. A lot of people were in person. When we were much better when most of our life took place off the internet. We were a lot better. We were just a lot better as human beings. That's why I always tell people to turn this stuff off sometime and just live life. When you have all these crazy dating advice, and he gotta have $5,000 to take you on a date and all this other stuff. That's why I say turn this crap off sometime and just turn it off and actually live life and just, if you turn this stuff off and start thinking for yourself. That's all I try to do on my podcast. Try to get people to think. Even when I do do my messages when I'm preaching. Just try to get people to think. That's just what that's because once you start thinking for yourself, start having your own thoughts. Because if anybody you follow is trying to force you to think like them, and trying to and that's the only way to be, and that's what you call a cult. I like people to think for themselves. When people start thinking and doing things, because diversity and difference, people are going to be different. I like when people are different. I don't want everybody to follow me and think the same and look the same, and that's a cult. That's just not no.
I've been traveling through Asia. I've been traveling through Africa. So I'm like, bro, just give me up there. Like, what can I do this weekend? I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Nothing.
Maybe go to Massachusetts. Like, go where in Massachusetts? I don't know. Like, bro, what you been doing? I don't know. That's everybody's like, I don't know.
I have 12 emails,
because
30 messages,
they so busy working.
By 10.
That's what it is.
Underwater.
I'm in the same boat.
They're so busy working and trying to make ends meet that they ain't focused on that.
And it's like everybody has
that's all it boils
this
down to.
look of sadness in their eyes.
Depression. When your whole paycheck you work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and your whole paycheck go towards your bills, and you broke. Yeah, that's that sadness.
And I don't think most people can recognize it because they've been in America and they haven't traveled
all their lives.
So they don't know what it looks like outside the States when people are not all just miserable. Like, but everybody you meet in the States, they have this look of sadness. Like, I just walked past, like I'm in a park right now. There was a guy sitting in a bench across from me. And when I walked past them, my man looked like he was desperate for somebody just to say hi to him.
Yep. That's what happens when you people don't have a social life off the internet.
Like, he looked like if I would have said hi to him or something like, how you doing, bro? That would have made his day. Like, that's not normal. That is not normal.
The Walking Dead, that's what it is here. I think that's what those comics and all that was trying to tell us. The Walking Dead.
For people to be starved for attention, for human interaction, like, that is not normal. Like, that's a very American thing. Like, even when I went to Eastern Europe, like, Eastern Europe was not like that. Like, there were places for people to congregate and have conversations. Like, people would go to, like, in Serbia, Republic Square, where people, like, families would walk around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, or just sit outside and just, like, drink a smoothie or something and just have a conversation, or have a cup of coffee and have a conversation. But here, there's none of that.
No, you better not be at 10 o'clock at night over here. I don't care where you at.
In America. Like, I don't even know.
I used to do that late at night, be out late at night. You can't do that no more out here.
One event that is designed for families or friends to just go outside and just congregate and socialize with each other. Not even like I'm not talking about something special like a party or some type of festival. I'm just talking about like on a Monday or Tuesday evening, somewhere where people can go and actually have a conversation with somebody.
No. Just no. No. The answer is no. The answer is no. Where can we go on Monday, Tuesday? No. What? No. That's unthinkable. Because folks either working that night, they worked, they went from one job, got off that job, went to another job. That's why I say no.
Like, y'all tell me.
It's not happening.
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the one that's going crazy. And
no, you're not crazy. You just hadn't been in America. You be overseas a lot, so you don't feel the heat. That what they call it.
But this is not normal. Because, like, I've been in the slums of Africa. The slums of Africa where people have no money. They barely got a roof over their head. They don't know what their next meal is. But they don't have that look of sadness in their eyes.
That's because they're rich in other ways. They're rich in community. They're rich in culture. They're rich in people. They're only poor in material possession. Spiritually, they're rich. Materially, they're poor. There's a very big difference in how that affects your happiness. You could have all the
You just nailed it, buddy.
material possessions in the world, but spiritually, if you're poor, culturally poor, and you have none of that human interaction, you'll be miserable no matter how many material possessions you have. People,
What does that scripture say? I was poor. When Jesus said I was poor so you could be made rich, so you could be rich. And rich is not always about money. It's all through the biblical. It's all through the Bible about being rich, but it's not all about money. It's about just like what he just said, rich in spiritual, in your mind, rich in like they always say, health is wealth. You're mentally healthy, physically healthy. You have your family, you have your friends, you're surrounded by those type of people, and when you have that, it's hard for depression to kick in when you have groups, when you have family, when everybody, let's say, y'all don't have a lot of money, but it's a family, it's one unit working together and living together and eating together and fellowshipping together. You're not thinking about all of that. Just like when we were kids, we didn't have a lot of money. Our parents may have had some, but we didn't have like $1,000 in our bank account. But when we were around our friends, when some kids had sleepovers, when some people had, it was like we had $1 million. We didn't have a care in the world. Because in America, it's like we're programmed to want all these expensive things, these expensive cars, expensive houses, expensive jewelry, all these vain things that fade and depreciate in value. It's like we're programmed to chase after and desire those things. So, I'm just saying. But in those places, all that programming ain't going on. They're just enjoying life off the internet. Not saying something's wrong with the internet, but you got to spend time off the internet and actually just enjoy life.
people don't understand that trinkets and shiny objects don't make you happy in this world. You will not take them with you to that.
They don't. That's why a lot of people are rich and are still depressed. Because America, even though people are broke in America, they still have houses, they still have cars, they still have they still have all these possessions, they still have all this jewelry, all this equipment, all these cars and vehicles, but they're not happy because there's no. The only culture here is money and business. That's the only thing that has any significant value in America is business and money. And I'll say this, it's very depressing. That's depressing, straight up depressing.
The afterlife. All that matters in life is people, connections, memories, and the experiences you build together. That's it, literally. Networking, friend groups, the brotherhood, building your own tribe. That's it. Forget the fancy cars, forget the diamond chains, the golden watches.
And that's why a lot of people in America try to build legacies and all that with their families, and these different organizations have fellowship, these discipleships and stuff, these different communities. I honestly would take that over what we have to pursue every day, which is the bag, because I don't. The only reason why I desire a lot of riches and wealth is because that's what it takes to survive in America. If it wasn't for that, if I didn't have to pursue riches, if I didn't have to do it, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be. But if you don't in America, it catches up with you when you get older. It just costs you. The price is too great to not pursue stability. You know what I'm saying? So if I could just focus on family and friends and groups and social gatherings and just community and brotherhood and all that stuff. I could focus on it. If I could have that, I'd trade. You know what I'm saying? You know what I would trade for that? Because that's the best feeling on earth to be surrounded by that type of. But now that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in America.
Is all that bullshit. It's irrelevant.
It's like they like that look of like, it looks like their eyes are lifeless. When you look at a lot of people in America, next time look, do
Because they're mentally, physically, and emotionally drained.
me a favor. Next time you're walking around the streets of America, just look at people's eyes and see how lifeless they are. And like when I was in the slums of Africa, like people were way more happier. People actually congregated and had conversations with each other. Like when I was in Kenya, like any day I can go out and find somewhere to socialize. And I'm not talking about going to like a club or a bar. I'm talking about just going out and finding people. Wow, this wind is absurd. Jesus, this wind is crazy. Yeah.
I've been trying
Yes.
to configure this field for an hour, but this CRM sucks.
That's what it is now.
Maybe it's time to stand up to these slow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that's not unique to Kenya. The same thing happens in Thailand. The same thing happens in Indonesia, the Philippines. Like there's always some place where people go to congregate, even if they have no money. Even if they're just going there to have like a cup of coffee.
I think that's key because you can go to the parks here and get like a little ice cream or a little like one of the national sweets. They're extremely cheap. We have like a little donut with frosting. It's really cheap here. You can go to the park and for an American be the equivalent of like 50 cents. So you don't need a lot of money. Same thing. You go get a coffee. It's like €2, €3, which is nothing. Couple of bucks. But you're in a place that, because this cafe terrace culture, the walkable cities, you're in a beautiful place with a very nice terrace where it's highly walkable sidewalk where you can go people watch, but also sit down and meet your friends there because they're all probably within walking distance. So people gather and there's like huge crowds that gather at these cafes. It's not just people sitting down, guys, and like occupying the tables. It's like crowds of people standing up, like groups of 10, 12, all standing around, huddled in a circle, just talking, laughing, joking around. And then there's the people that got there earlier and got all the seats. And then there's the other people sitting on like the benches that are all lined up all around, along the sidewalk. It's so different than like go get your car, drive through like a Starbucks, drive through and order your fucking venti latte. And then where do you go? Because the Starbucks, terrace is just facing a fucking concrete parking lot or asphalt or a fucking 4, 5, 6 lane road with nothing but car noise. And so where do you go now? You just drive home. Or you just, hopefully you got your Starbucks at one of the dead malls so you guys can walk around a dead establishment. Dude, it's not even comparable. It's so different. Until you go overseas, that's why I say day game. And I tell guys a lot, like cold approaching in the rest of the world is still amazing. I mean, you have no choice but to cold approach in America because dating apps and online dating in general, and the way you meet people is so fucking shit. Like you gotta go to the park on the weekends if you live in a major city or something like that where people still go and unwind, relax. I don't know, dog park, go pick up some hot chick or a yoga class, Pilates.
Well, with dating, it's kind of best to just everybody has to do what works for them when it comes to that, because it used to be better, but now, like I said, since not as many people are just hanging out like that anymore, not as many people are just up for chit chat anymore, because again, people are fighting to move from day to day. The most people I talk to personally are just trying to make it from day to day. I found myself in that state mentally. Some days just mesh together. Sometimes you don't even know. It's just from day to day. It's just bam. You're just fighting every day. You're fighting mentally, fighting financially, you're fighting physically. It's just draining. So that's the state America's in. That's just how, and it's not predicted to get any better. especially over the next 4 years.
Something, I don't know. But here you could just walk around in the city and like you could cold approach nonstop, dude. There's just pretty girls everywhere, and people are very open, friendly, and kind with each other. Huge difference.
But America is not like that. It's like America is designed to like isolate you, and then you have to fill in the holes with like, I don't know, video games, alcohol, something, some type of consumer.
That's those coping mechanisms I was talking about. They find something, and a lot of people go to the bar just to take shot after shot because they're trying to escape reality, because reality sucks. Just being honest with you, that's just what it is. You have to kind of and I think the only way to make it better is for people to kind of, like I said, turn this stuff off. We have to go back to groups, have to go back to family, go back to valuing other people, go back to valuing friendships and other people. It's going to be rough to make that change, but that's the only way. I think that's the only way it's gonna happen, because that's just the only way it's gonna happen. Because some cultures have the grandparents and parents living in the same houses. It's just some cultures like that. Some cultures have the family members grow up together, live close by each other, and they still come together and cook Sunday dinner together. It's gonna take that kind of stuff. In these days to come, it's gonna take that. I'm telling you now, it's gonna take families coming back together, friends coming back together, because the prices gonna continue to go up. Things gonna continue to get worse. So it ain't gonna be just one or two people just making a living by themselves anymore. It's gonna go back to families having to stick it out, having to work together. Let's say y'all, it might take a whole family, y'all come together, buy some land, build y'all a 6-7 bedroom house, and stay in it together. Hey, I'm just telling you what I've seen, but you know, 'cause I have dreams, vision, stuff like that. I'm just telling you. It's going to take a lot of that kind of stuff, especially with everyday 9-to-5 common people. It's going to take stuff like that.
Boo that you need so you could waste some of your money so you could try to fill that hole.
Nailed it.
And I think the only way people really socialize now in America is social media, and I will explain why people are so damn crazy.
Crazy, like you said, yeah. You're
here
right.
now, and they
You
think
nailed it.
that the world is social media, and because they never go outside to actually talk to people.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Like there's something really broken here, and I don't think people really talk about that. Like, but stuff is really, really broken here. Like, this is not how a society's
White supremacy.
supposed to be. This is not how a society is supposed to run. Like, people should not just be cogs in a machine. Because literally that's what it is. Like, it feels like when you're back in America, you're just a cog in a machine. You're just a number.
Yeah.
And if you're not producing,
Whether you're on a job or behind a jail cell, you're just a number.
like, you have no use.
Because you're literally just a number, because you got a driver's license number, social security number. To the government, you're just a number. All you are is a number.
In society, you don't exist. And even if you do
Here comes the men in black. That's what it reminded me of. Sorry.
have some type of say you are producing, like, you still don't get any incentive to or reward for that. You just get to be by yourself.
There is no
Here's what
reward.
it's like to go to school for firearms technology.
You
and
work your
gun
whole
safety.
life,
The Northern Desert
and,
Institute's online programs cover troubleshooting.
You get $1,500 a month.
Because, like, even if you have, like, family here, like, say you have a family, say you're raising a
Okay, this video's almost done.
family,
I'll be getting off in a minute.
what are you going to be doing then? You're just going to be working 24/7 to try to
stuff to
support them
do.
because America's too fucking expensive.
Got
Like-
stuff to do.
Like, oh my God, man. I don't know the answer to this problem. Like, I really,
There is none.
don't know the answer, but I
Ain't none, because the few chances we had at saving America, we blew it. So yeah,
I know there's something wrong.
there's a lot wrong. Everything, that's what's wrong.
You can feel it. Like you literally feel it.
I can smell it.
Like I feel like I'm out of place. Like I feel like I'm in like some type of
That's how we all feel, buddy.
twilight zone. Like
It is the Twilight Zone. It's an alternate timeline. It's an alternate universe to where nothing is affordable and everything's expensive, and you have to think and work and run night and day to survive.
cause like I can see it. And then when you try to explain it to people just look at you crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, isolating, lonely. I don't know if people don't want to admit it, because, like, who would want to admit that, like, you have really no friends. You don't have a girlfriend. Like, your best friends are your coworkers who don't even care about you. Like, so when you try to talk about these things, like, I feel like people just look at me crazy. But yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this place. This is not right. And I don't think I can live here. Like,
Yep, and that's the feeling you get when you go overseas and see what life could be like, what it should be like.
Anytime you look on the outside, you could see it, because and you could tell this bad here in a lot of places.
Country really is just a giant Amazon factory.
Yeah.
Been saying this for years. America feels like an isolated, soul-crushing wasteland. A feeling
Yeah, concrete jungle. Any one of them you can name.
of emptiness and desperation. People no longer cultivate friendships or interact with each other.
Perhaps when they do friendships, just try to see what they can beat you out of or something like that.
Perhaps why there's a mental illness epidemic here that nobody addresses.
Because everyone is isolated, and we are social creatures, and since we don't get what we long for, what we crave, we just turn to other things, and and those things can lead to unhealthy consequences.
Something is seriously wrong because America has become too expensive to even have a social life. That's why when you ask anyone
it has, because whenever you introduce yourself to somebody, whether it be male or female, they're in need of money. They're short on a bill, or they're struggling to pay this or struggling to do that. They either try to beg you or something. It's something they're in need of.
they always respond with, I'm maintaining. Not much, I've been working. Just out here surviving, hustling, paying bills, and so on. I graduated from college in 2023, and even on college campuses, it was completely dead. No one really socialized outside of their groups. Everyone kind of ignored each other. Everyone just kept to themselves. One of the loneliest times in my life. The problem with America is that nobody trusts anybody. People look at the other people.
Because you can't. Because if you do, people were tired of paying the price for trusting people. So, yeah, that's out there.
As potential threats.
Not saying any of this stuff to be negative. I'm just saying this is what's out here, and you have to be on the lookout for it.
There is no social cohesion. I was in the U.S. last month, and I smiled at people. They look at me as if there was something wrong with me. Americans look depressed and have very huge social anxiety. That's my observation. Yeah. I'm convinced our car culture and dependency of it has led to a rising mental issues and lack of community over time.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Definitely. If you want to see about the cafe culture and what I was telling you guys about and what it looks like overseas, at least in Romania where I'm at, I do have the second channel. The videos come up here at the very end, but links are in the description as well for the second channel. Go there, just check it out. I walk around town, I show you some of the places I go frequent, and you just look at the amount of people and what they look like and what everybody's doing, and you'll be surprised. And it's like that every single day. For the rest, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. We're heavily suppressed.
Yep. Anyway, support that was it for that. Yeah, just shout out to them, because I'll be giving them credit in the description. But anyway, just had to get that off my just wanted to do that stream today. That's all we have, because I'll be back on probably either later on this week, this weekend, something like that. We'll get it figured out. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, that's all we have for this one. I hope y'all. I'm gonna go and get off of here because I gotta get ready for bed. I might not be going to bed yet because I got other things I gotta take care of before bed. But I'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.